Have you ever wondered why some people stay happy no matter what happens? Do you believe happiness depends on circumstances, or is it something deeper? This story will show you the secret to finding joy in every situation. In life, we face good times and bad times. Some people let their happiness depend on what happens to them, while others remain joyful no matter what. What's their secret? Let's hear the story of a wise old woman who discovered the key to happiness, even in the most difficult moments. Once upon a time, in a quiet little village, there lived an old woman who was known by everyone for her kindness, wisdom, and constant happiness. No matter what happened, whether the sun shone brightly or storms raged, she always had a smile on her face. She walked through the village greeting people with warmth, offering advice, and helping those in need. Her presence was like a soft light that made the village feel peaceful and safe. The villagers admired her deeply. Many came to her seeking advice, sharing their troubles, and hoping to understand the secret behind her happiness. People wondered how she remained so calm and cheerful when life was full of difficulties. Some believed she had never faced hardship, while others thought she had some special wisdom that protected her from sadness. One day, a young man from the village visited her. He had seen her for years, always joyful, always peaceful, and he couldn't help but wonder why. He had experienced many struggles in his own life, and yet, no matter how hard he tried, he could never feel truly happy. "Grandmother, why are you always happy?" he asked. "No matter what happens, you never seem sad. Don't you ever feel bad when things go wrong?" The old woman smiled gently and said, "My dear, life is full of ups and downs. Some days bring joy, and others bring sorrow. But I have learned something important. Happiness does not come from what happens around us. It comes from inside us." The young man frowned. "I don't understand. How can you be happy when bad things happen?" he asked with curiosity. He had always believed that happiness depended on good events, and sadness was inevitable when life became difficult. The old woman sighed, then began to tell her story. She knew that the young man needed to hear her truth, and so she spoke in a calm and gentle voice. "When I was young, I had a family, a loving husband and children. We were not rich, but we were happy. Life was simple and good. We had enough to eat, a small home to live in, and we laughed together every night. But one day, everything changed. My husband fell sick. At first, we thought it was nothing serious, but soon, his condition worsened. We had no money for medicine. We tried everything, but he passed away." Her eyes softened as she continued. "It was the saddest time of my life. I cried for days, weeks, months. I thought I would never be happy again. The pain in my heart was unbearable. I stopped talking to people. I stopped finding joy in anything. It felt as if my life had lost all meaning." The young man listened carefully, waiting for her to explain how she overcame such sorrow. He had never lost anyone close to him, but he had seen others suffer and wondered how they found the strength to move forward. "At first, I let my grief consume me. I stayed in my house, lost in my sadness. But then, I realized something. Being sad all the time wouldn't bring my husband back. My children needed me, and I needed to live. I could not change what happened, but I could change how I responded to it. So, I made a decision. I would not let sadness steal my life. I would find happiness, no matter what," she said firmly, her eyes filled with wisdom. The young man was intrigued. "But how did you do that?" he asked eagerly. He had always thought that happiness just happened on its own, not that it was something people could control. The old woman chuckled. "It was not easy, my child. But I discovered a simple habit that changed everything. Every morning, when I wake up, I tell myself, 'Today is a new day. I will find something to be happy about.'" She continued. "Some days, it's easy. The sun is shining, a flower is blooming, or a friend stops by to talk. Other days, it's harder. But even then, I look for something, anything to be thankful for. Maybe it's the sound of birds in the morning. Maybe it's just the fact that I am alive." The young man thought about her words but still had one doubt. He had faced many days when life felt completely dark, when nothing seemed to go right. What if something really bad happens? What if life is so difficult that there is nothing good to see? He asked. The old woman smiled again. "Ah, my dear, that is when the most important lesson comes in. Everything passes. The bad times don't last forever. When something terrible happens, I remind myself, this too shall pass." She continued. "Even in my worst days, I remind myself of the good things I still have, my health, my family, the ability to wake up each day. Instead of focusing on what I lost, I focus on what remains." The young man sat in silence, absorbing her words. He had never thought about happiness this way before. He always assumed it came from good circumstances, not from within. "So, you are saying that happiness is a choice?" he asked. "Yes," the old woman nodded. "You can choose to focus on what's wrong and feel sad, or you can choose to find the good and be happy. It's not always easy, but it is always possible." The young man thanked the old lady for her wisdom and left her home with a changed heart. That very day, he decided to try her advice. At first, it was difficult. He was used to complaining, to feeling bad when things went wrong. But each morning, he forced himself to find one small thing to be grateful for. It could be the warmth of the sun, the kindness of a friend, or even the simple act of having food to eat. Slowly, he noticed something incredible. His life began to feel lighter. Even when problems came, he handled them differently. He no longer let small troubles ruin his day. Soon, the old woman's wisdom spread throughout the village. People started to see happiness differently. They realized it was not about wealth, success, or perfect circumstances. It was about how they chose to see life. A farmer, once worried about his crops, started appreciating the beauty of the fields instead of fearing the storms. A shopkeeper, always stressed about his sales, found peace in the laughter of his customers. A mother, tired from daily work, found joy in the playful giggles of her children. Over time, the village became a happier place. People found joy in the small things. They stopped waiting for happiness to come to them and started creating it themselves. And at the center of it all was the wise old woman, still smiling, still sharing her wisdom, still proving that happiness is a choice. No matter how difficult life became, the people of the village now understood that happiness was not found in things, but in the way they saw the world. The young man, who had once doubted the old woman's words, had now become one of her greatest believers. He carried her wisdom with him, passing it on to others, ensuring that her lesson lived on. And so, through the kindness and wisdom of one old woman, an entire village learned that happiness was never far away. It was always within them, waiting to be chosen. This story teaches us an important lesson. Happiness does not depend on what happens to us. It depends on how we respond. Even in hard times, there is always something good to focus on. Difficult moments will pass, but a positive attitude makes us stronger. You can choose to dwell on your troubles, or you can choose to find the good in every day. True happiness comes from within. Have you ever struggled to find happiness in difficult times? What helps you stay positive? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If this story inspired you, hit the like button, share it with someone who needs to hear this, and subscribe to Golden Mind for more wisdom-filled stories. Turn on notifications to never miss a new story that changes your perspective on life.